Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Daley, and welcome to Let's Talk. So, folks, today I want to talk a little bit about the pipeline and the oil industry for those friends of mine and family of mine, and well, just about everybody I know out east. If you can go to your friends and tell your friends how important this pipeline is to all of Canada. A lot of people don't realize this, but we share as a country in all the minerals this country has to offer. Now, Alberta has a huge oil industry. I mean, it is huge. And we got to get that oil out of here and out east so that Irving doesn't have to be bringing shiploads of oil and stuff in from Saudi Arabia and around the world, wherever they're going to get it these days. Whoever the cheapest bidder is really where they go get it. But one of the problems here is we are being held up every time we turn a corner by an environmental assessment. Folks, some information that maybe you all don't know. Number one, we are number one in the environmental and safety oil industry in the world. Now imagine these are the hockey champions of the world. They would be rewarded. If this was a race car driver, he would be rewarded. But the oil industry, which employs hundreds of thousands of Canadians, a very large percentage of people work in the oil industry, not to mention all the related businesses that are supported by the oil industry. Now, for those of you who oppose oil and say we should have windmills, we should have solar systems, well, folks, how the hell are you going to make a pair of shoes with wind power or with nuclear power? Because every synthetic thing that we have, even right down to some of your pill casings, have petroleum in them. Your shoes, your vinyl in your car, your wheel, everything has oil in it. So unless that alternative clean energy that they're talking about can take care of the rest of the things that we like, we've got to support the oil industry now. You want to drive your cars around and go to work and have the convenience lifestyle. You're going to need oil because solar and wind power are not where it needs to be right now. So I agree with developing alternative. Listen, come on, come on. Who isn't for something like that? I mean, who wouldn't like to jump in the car, zit, be gone, and wherever you're going in 5 minutes? Or I mean, who wouldn't want things to progress? We all want things to progress, but it's like everything else. You go out and buy a house and you start paying your house payments. So then you go out and buy a car, and now you're paying your house payments, paying your car payments. Then you think, oh my God, I have to have a motorcycle. So you go out and buy a motorcycle. Then all of a sudden you can't drive a car, you can't go on the motorcycle, and your house is 68 degrees with a blanket because you're spending too damn much money on all the foolishness that's going on around us. Okay? Now, let me tell you, these environmental assessments, in case anybody isn't quite aware of this, these people are not pushing this agenda so that they can save the environment, because those people drive around their Jeeps and their Skidoos and their ATVs, looking all environmental, acting all environmental with their petroleum backpacks and their boots with their petroleum heels. I mean, so, these environmental people, let me tell you what it's about. It's an industry. It's like every industry. Now, here's what the problem is. Somehow, from tying a person to a tree, all of a sudden they're tying us to a tree. It's absolutely ridiculous that the environmental voice has gotten so loud. It's an industry. The unfair part of their industry is an industry driven by politicians. And it's kind of like their way or the highway. And the unfortunate fact is this pipeline is so important in so many ways. Because as oil is glutted out around the world, the price of oil drops, and they decide they can't do our oil, and we're importing all our oil because we're tapped out because we've given all our natural resource rights away to China and anyway, other countries, including the U.S. And so now what happens is the glut comes on, and the U.S. has produced more than they ever have. And by the way, it's not the Saudis' fault. Honest to God, it's not. I mean, we like to think that because they're the Saudi. They're only pumping the same amount of crap they ever pumped. Where the glut come on, is the Americans started fracking up North Dakota, and they hit huge oil reserves up there. So now they're up there doing it. And what's happened is the oil's gotten out, the price is going down. The oil companies are heavily indebted, and anyway, it's a whole financial reason. But basically, what the Americans have to do is they have to say, okay, in order to keep the price here, we can't do too much, so we've got to cut. And hey, ho, we have the rights to Canada. Let's cut them down. They're only Canadians. What do they know? So anyway, what happens is all us people are out here making a living. We're running around and working hard. Believe me, they work hard out here. I wouldn't go up those oil fields when I first come out here, folks. I'm telling you. I decided I wanted to go where the big money is because I come out here to make big bucks, man. I didn't come out here to make basically what the same thing does at home. What I did was I come out here to make big bucks, and so I went out in the oil fields, man. I was all, geez, man, I had it all on. I had the hard hat and all the clothes, everything, and I walked out there, and I'm going to tell you, 1 month. They go out there and it's minus 35. They arrive 3 o'clock in the afternoon, go home the next day at like 11 or 12, and they're doing nothing but lift and roll and tap and just constant physical labor. I mean, these are some rugged fellas. And by the way, they may have come out here and because they're young kids, most of them, when they come out, they make a pile of money, and the lifestyle warrants it because it's very mountainous and very wildlifey out here. And so these guys come out here, and yeah, everybody's got the jacked up truck. It's like saying, "Hey, I'm now in the oil field business," and it's just a culture kind of thing out here. But believe me, they have no problem sustaining that lifestyle and the money that they make standing out there minus 35, minus 45 degrees, and there's no time off, man. You go out, and if that's a 3-day job, you out there, and you sleep part-time, and believe me, I've gone out and done it. This is no exaggeration. And, it only took a couple of times out there for me to say, what the hell, dear? To my wife, I said, no, 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 no. No, I'm done with that. I've never done that shit in my life, and I ain't going to start now, and I'm all done with the oil business. So if you're looking at your neighbors and you're thinking, you go out there, make all that money, come back broke, they were the same as you were. If you know what I mean. Believe me, I lived out east, and I'm not taking any shots because I've been as poor as you can possibly be poor, and I'm still poor. So, I understand poor. But we need this pipeline because, number one, um, everybody owns this oil, so therefore every province gets money from it. They're called equalization payments. And, Quebec, the one that's holding it up, it's not actually Quebec. I shouldn't do that. It's Montreal. It's the mayor in Montreal is holding this up. He should be aware, and Quebec Premier should be there, and the Prime Minister of Canada should be there saying, hey, folks, hold on. You're making a bad mistake. Do you realize when this oil flows out east here that, we kind of divide all the profits up among the provinces to bring everybody kind of on an equal standard? Imagine in Nova Scotia, PEI, and even Newfoundland, and where else? New Brunswick. They can't afford to lose those equalization payments, man. That goes in to help their budgets. That's how they kind of run it. They count on that. It's like you out there and everything's going fine, and all of a sudden, your boss says, "Oh, by the way, you can't have that bonus that you used to every month is now gone." Well, but balls, I got bills towards that. Well, it's going to be the exact same thing. Not to mention that all the people returning home out east from the oil fields that are going on to EI and applying for it in Nova Scotia, that's coming out of Nova Scotia. So it's just a cost to everybody, and it's pointless because let me tell you, the pipeline would employ all kinds of people. As the pipeline is being built, it allows for refineries because they can now move the oil right across the country. I mean, like I say, there's no reason for Irving to be out there with boats coming into St. John to refine when we got a piss ass full of oil out here. It doesn't even make sense. And as far as people not understanding or wanting to get involved in this, it's going to affect every one of us because we don't have a lot left. I mean, oil is pretty well hit in terms of high-end revenues, and yes, we've got wonderful businesses that are going along in other industries in this country, but when any of them is as big as the oil industry is, and they start to hurt, that's the time when everybody stands up. And we all remember this in the fisheries out east. And, it was a horrible time out there, and they've still never recovered from it. And when you go to one of the places that is helping you to recover from it, and they're going to go through it, boy, we're in some pretty serious problems. So we better get at this and walk up your MP. It doesn't take much to find out where your damn MP is. I mean, come on, you can pick up a phone, sitting there while you're watching this, look at your phone, go up to that little place they call a search and type in MP for whatever area you live in, and your MP will come up, and then you go on there and give them a little text saying, hey, buddy, we need this pipeline. You tell Justin Trudeau and the Premier of Quebec to get their asses over to that mayor's office and tell him there is nothing in this for you. If you're going to try and hold the country hostage, there's nothing in it for you. So, you have no right as a city to interfere with the economic growth or lifestyles of other Canadians. So, we won't say nothing about you dumping the crap sewer in your St. Lawrence River if you let us put a clean, very, very, folks, you're not running a garden hose under here, man. You want to see the pipes they're using out here and the equipment and the feeders and pumpers. Christ, some of them blow your head off, they're so loud. And this is just them testing these things out, and you can hear it down the street, and all of a sudden they put some sort of thing on it. You can't even hear it. I mean, it's just the most amazing equipment they got out here, and I can tell you, I'm from out east, and I always thought the same thing. Damn old dirty Alberta and oil. Not true, folks. Not true. There are so many regulations. We are world renowned. Canadians are world renowned, and I say we because there's a pile of Easterners out here, and I'm proud to say that they are doing a job, and a lot of them are foremen. A lot of them even own the companies out here now. The Easterners that come out early, and I'm very, very, very proud of every one of them because they have really, really done a wonderful job out here and helping to build Alberta. And, a lot of them are home now, and a lot of them want to be back here because, let's face it, some of them have been here for 20, 25 years, and this is what they know. And, others have been making a living flying back and forth and taking their money into your economies and spending it at home, but only, the companies fly them in and out. I mean, it's just go to your MPs and tell them to get the pipeline so at least when we have an opportunity and we make a few more deals, maybe we can start the oil flowing for doing our own oil and stop importing. I mean, there's so many advantages to doing this. Go to your MP and say, please take this message to Trudeau and get this pipeline done. And the fact of the matter, who the hell made these environmental people so damn powerful? Who the hell made these environmental people so powerful that they can, in every direction of this country, stop anything from happening? It doesn't matter where it is. And, they rely on the public not to say anything because it makes it seem like, oh, we're uncaring. I care. I live here. My grandchildren live here. I care. But on the same token, I don't want to see my grandchildren like a third world country with bloated bellies because they can't eat because there's no work or there's no way to make a living. And if you think that means that I'm anti-environment, it's not true. I work for an environment company. I know well enough about the environment and how much energy is put in here in Alberta on this environment. And folks, we're only 2% of the world's emitters. And, our government steps up and decides that they're going to do it again. And I say, punish the best in the world. That just doesn't make sense. So go to your MP and tell them, get the pipeline passed. Stop the foolishness and get it done. Thank you very much. My name is Mike Daley, and I'll be back to talk again. Thanks.